We are here to create history. And every moment that you live, every response that you intentionally create in those moments will be your history. It will be your past. It will be our past. So if we continue to live based on what we have felt in the past, how about we create a past so abundant and flowing that everything we do and choose in these moments is from a place of wild possibility. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts, a place where the raw, the unfiltered, the wild hearts gather to celebrate triumphs and hardships, learn from each other, grow together, and break down a culture rooted in fear. We will talk, we will laugh, and we will lean on each other about everyday life experiences that we could all use a little support through, and then we'll bask in the wild, magical beings that we are. My philosophy is that by embracing the dark, we may just let in the light. I am your host, Lori Rising, healer, educator, writer, adventurer, retreat leader, birth defender, and animal enthusiast and activist, along with my wild heart sidekick Kitty, Jesus the Brave. We'd like to invite you to get excited about the Wild Heart Revolution. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. It's called Money, Inflation, and Fear Frequency. Yes, this is where we are, but this is not who we are. So I'm sure that you hear the rumblings of what's to come, let alone feel the significant shifts and changes in our food and gas prices. So I wanted to come on and share some messages and downloads that are coming through in where we're at, where we're going, and how do we transform this unfolding in our highest power, because we always have that available to us. So if you are new to the podcast, welcome. I am so happy to have you here. And if you are a longtime listener, thank you for your continued support. And if you are getting support and guidance from these episodes, the messages, the bomb guests and interviews that I feel so blessed to be a part of, please go ahead and scroll down on the podcast page in Apple Podcasts and tap that star rating and hit that review button and let us know how this is resonating for you so that the podcast can actually get out into more ears and create a higher light vibration and love frequency on this planet, because that is truly how we are going to move quantumly into this human evolution. It will not be through the systems that we have been, I want to say, snailing our way through for centuries. It's going to be through our highest frequency activation, through our multi-dimensional abilities as infinite light beings in these human bodies. So yes, if you're new here, we're going to get spiritual, but we're also going to get super grounded. This is all about the full integration of our spirit, of our source energy, of our God self within this human experience, in our human body, in our human form, and in the matrix around us. How do we create that full integration to live in a high vibration and in the magnetization, in the manifestation, and the abundance that we were made to activate in nanoseconds, in moments, in instances, right? With our creation energy. So that's just a little background of where we're going to go here. Okay, so I have been sitting with this and marinating on it for a little while with the big energies that are happening in the moon cycle right now. We had the Cancer new moon, and now we've got our second supermoon in a row after a huge lunar eclipse that we kind of got rocked through. I've had a hard time tapping in to my online business, and that is interesting to say the least, since I am now in an online business along with my in-person retreats. So a little bit about me, if you are new here, I've got retreats happening. I've got an amazing quantum shifting ascension filled retreat coming up in Todos Santos, Mexico, January 26th to the 31st. If you want to go all in, if you want to get clear in that astro vibe in your cosmic channel, in your release of cellular trauma and the recoding of your DNA and cells, we're going there. I've got that. I've also got so many freebies for you, and come join me this coming Tuesday, July 19th, for my free Clear Your Channel Mastermind. When I released my last podcast episode, which is Pleiadians Make Contact, I decided to share with you how I really upped my alignment game to get out of the fear frequency on a cellular level. Like, we can say or we can think that we've made changes, but nothing happens integratively or physically for us. And that's because we're so used to living in our thinking mind, and we're so used to controlling our experience, because that is what has been nurtured in us in this culture, that I'm here to help you decipher what is your higher consciousness. What is your higher dimensional self? What are the messages coming in from the guides? And how do you connect with intelligent life and star beings? Which really comes down to learning to unlearn. So at the heart of this is our belief systems and the transformation of them at like a guttural level. I often tell my students, if we start to feel into the matrix, like the 3D world, the binary world, the us versus them, the unhealthy ego in the duality world, right? That's channel 3. And then as we move into our higher dimensional self, which is as we move into a love frequency, into unity consciousness, into a healthy ego existence where the triggers dissipate, where the ego's need to be right and control, we transcend that space. That's channel 5. So really, when you're making deep belief system shifts, which is literally how we are going to change the systems that have been in place that continue to disempower us, to run off of a system of greed, of imbalance that continue to pillage and take from the earth and its people and humanity. The deepest and quickest way out of those systems is literally to get to the root of why we believe in them and how they have continued to hold power through the mass belief in them. Does that make sense? This continues to open up in my cells as I continue to ascend higher and transcend almost the ploy, the game that we have been in. It becomes wildly clear and evident in that innate knowingness and wisdom that is in every single one of us that has been repressed in our cells. It's the source energy. It's creation energy of life that we that we are, that we were, that we will always be. And so as we release the fear frequency, as we unfold traumas and triggers and karmas from our vessel, from the conduit to the knowledge, right? It's like our body is the instrument to the music that is trying to move through us. So I wanted to come on today and chat a little bit about that, but also about the fear frequency that's being created around inflation and money. Now, I totally am here for the reality that we have been held in a certain bracket, so to speak. The wealth gap continues to get bigger and widen. This is on purpose. And the longer that we stay in a battle with each other, right? Us versus them, duality, binary, one side versus the other, competition. I mean, it keeps us in this never-ending loop. It keeps us on this hamster wheel where we stay at a certain place And we continue to give our power away because we continue to choose one of the sides in order to feel like we are doing our job, right? Because we're following what we've been given. We're following the plan or the approach that has always been. And this, my friends, is where we change. We are not here to live in our past. And that is what we have been made to believe human life is. That has kept us limited. It has kept us powerless. It has kept us in this monkey mind hamster wheel living. No more. We are here to be in our creation energy. We are here to be fully in the moment and in the possibilities that come from everywhere. And honestly, when enough of us stop putting our power in one side or the other side, because those are the only options that we see on the table in front of us in a linear path, or because we're choosing the lesser of two evils, or because we feel like that is the only way that we are here to make change, then we've already blocked everything that we have come here to do. What we have come here to experience and create in multidimensionality. If we're going to stay in these systems and continue to allow the wealth gap to grow and continue to just be at status quo, to continue to survive, then nothing will change. We will repeat history over and over and over because we're believing history, because we're living from the past. So that is what our magnetization energy is holding in our now, is attracting in our vibration. Are you following me here? Okay. So I do want to get to money and inflation, and how do we get out of the fear frequency that the system in power is creating for us? Remember, every time you plug into any of these linear systems, there is a conflict of interest. There is a group, there is a money, there is a power behind what they're selling you. That is basics. That is like selling basics 101. And everything that you're plugging into is continuing to sell something to you. Okay? So I want you to just imagine for a moment that you turned the news on, or you got on your phone, you put on that whole internet, and the first thing that you read was prices are going to change, inflation is going to go up, and we have new ways of bringing something in that's going to feed you, that's going to nourish you, that's going to support you. We're going to actually walk away from the things that are creating more inflation and price hikes, and we're going to open up our creation energy for seasonal foods, easy to grow foods, life's basic necessities that we can teach you how to create and make as if they're art from salvaged materials around your yard, right? So can you imagine if you turned on the TV and you felt supported in the transition that we are moving through? We are made to evolve. Life is made to evolve. We are made to change. And when we have someone selling us this story that it's all doom and gloom, we are going to be marinating in that frequency and vibration, and we're going to magnetize it into our life. Now, if those same people turned around and gave you all kinds of positive reinforcements and information and thoughts, ideas, and motivation, you would be in creation energy from that active vibration that you're sharing together in the collective. So remember, scare tactics are real and there's a motivation behind them. When we stay in fear, the machine continues to work in the same way that it always has. So, is inflation real? Yes. Did this just happen because of certain circumstances in the world? No. So number one, let's be real, let's be clear, and let's be ready to get super honest with ourselves. And even if we have to say, oh, I did believe that, I did fall for that, because messaging works on such a subtle and subconscious level that most of us have no idea what is being programmed on a daily basis within our subconscious. I've told people this many times. If you are not intentionally creating your reality from a high frequency, from an alignment on a daily basis, all of the messages that continue to come in all day long will create your reality for you. And this includes your phone, the internet, the algorithm, billboards while you're driving your car, the radio, your community, your family, your friends, your spouse, your kids. It doesn't matter. Whatever your senses are taking in, are absorbing on a daily basis, that will create the narrative that your belief systems are formed on. Okay, so we have to be super real about how potent and powerful this messaging is that we are getting in a full-on fear frequency. So what do we do about it? That's the beauty. We are creators in this world, each and every single one of us. We have all come in with a divine purpose, a soul's mission. We have something innately within us that is so primed and ready for this collective. So let's keep uncovering it. And as you release that fear frequency, as you transform the trauma from your cells, the wounds, the karmas, as you live in the higher unity conscious of love frequency, it all becomes so much more clear and accessible on a daily basis. That's where we get directed towards meditation often, because meditation is the fastest and quickest way for us to move deeply into the present moment where all possibilities are found. So what do? Number one, take action. We make choices all day, every day. We choose intentionally how we respond to everything. So if you have the means and the ability to make some investments right now that feed into the energy and feeling of security for you, by all means, take those steps. I have heard many people talking about purchasing, long shelf life foods like grains, pastas, oils, coconut oil, things of that nature, maybe cereal foods, oats, things like that. And just get them at the price that you can get them right now. Know that they're in your pantry, they're in your shelves, and have that place where you can relax, where your nervous system can feel good and know that you are taken care of at a certain level, right? But we also, as we move into our magnetization and our creation energy, the biggest piece of this that I want you to know is there is so dang much money in this world, okay? That's not suddenly just going to go away. So the way that food is made and transported, we are already seeing the effects of that. We actually have known this is coming for a while now, especially through the astrology. If you've been following some of our amazing astrologers, we have this warning, right? So let's be in gratitude and appreciation that this isn't just a Uranus surprise for us, right? I say that because we've got some big Uranus energy coming in right now. But we had some forewarning to this. So how do we shift? How do we pivot? This is an opportunity for us to be in our fluidity and our flow. And remember that we came in to be nomadic beings, right? We came in to work with the seasons, with the nature, with our energy and the fluctuations all around us. And we've been catapulted into this world of I guess the image I'm getting is like the status quo image. It's like one level, right? Like we're just machines that produce on this one level while everything else fluctuates around us. And it has absolutely put us into states of complete nervous system dysregulation and complete dis-ease, blockages, stagnation, right? Because we lost the flow that we were meant to come in and be masters at. So this is an opportunity to rise up within the intrinsic and the innate power that came with these bodies, with this infinite soul, with the integration of our full multidimensional self. So what I want you to deeply take in right now is that there is a whole lot of money on this planet, right? And you are a creator of your reality. You are a magnetizer of energy and frequency. And there is no reason that that money should not and cannot come to you. But when we're in fear frequency and scarcity and we don't believe that it's there for us, we have actually blocked the flow. So my suggestion here is to work deeper on your giving and receiving. Practice this in your communities, in your families. This can be as simple as going out and volunteering. And that volunteer work will not only open up the flow of giving and receiving in your energy, in your space, it will also elevate you in love, frequency, and vibration. So these choices that we make every single day affect how we respond to the world around us, how we respond to the energy that's moving, how we respond to the planets that are fluctuating, how we respond to the matrix that is continuing to work to pull your power away from you. So I say, stand in this beautiful light and shine it as brightly as possible in the trust, not only in yourself and in your ability to magnetize more wealth and abundance in your life, the deeper that you get in your alignment and your soul's purpose, but also to deepen your trust in your family and community, and trust yourself that when you are in need, you can ask for help. You can ask for support, and you can show and give and offer support when you see and feel others in your collective that are in need as well. So this kind of brings me to the last download that I got this morning that I really want to share about where we're headed, to what we're seeing in these drastic shifts in inflation and living costs and price hikes around the world, quite honestly. I in no way want to bypass the intensity that we are all going through, but I want to continue to highlight the creation energy that is available within ourselves when we live in places of trust and intentional response, which is where our creation energy thrives. So I think it's important to feel good about our basic necessities, our basic survival. And if we have an abundance, if we feel like we have more than we need, sharing that in places that resonate for us, in ways that resonate for us, whether it be through volunteering, through giving, through offering food and help in various situations. But I also want to highlight the importance of continuing to invest in yourself, because the electromagnetic field that is shifting, the Schumann resonance continues to go off in historical ways. The photonic light that pours onto the planet, the energies that are moving with every single astrological occurrence, the veil that is practically non-existent if you're tapping in to the higher dimensional realms. I want to highlight how important it is that you continue your alignment practices, that you continue to invest in yourself, because when you are transcending the fear frequency and the matrix here, you will hear the intuitive hits. You will hear the messages. You will be in your source energy. You will be in your full creation energy. You will be in the wealth and abundance and magnetization that you are here to emanate. You are here to create and change worlds. When you find yourself in a fear frequency from what is being sold to you through the airwaves in whatever way it's coming, then that is a way to keep you separated from that source energy and your power. So the message that I wanted to share that really came in clear this morning was, as I've been feeling into how humans are really going back to the way that we came in, right? The way that we get simpler, we get more local, we work with the seasons, we grow our own food, we get into cooperatives with each other, we're starting to homestead in new ways, to build community, to feel more trust and safe. I got the message that even though all of this is created, right? Like I said, this isn't just suddenly coming because one power decided to invade another power, or however it's being sold to us. Like this, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot that plays out, and then we get the trickle down effect, and then we get put into the fear frequency, and then it's the hamster wheel loop, right? I was thinking about how the universe is getting so loud and proud, y'all. Are you feeling it, right? Like these messages are coming in hot. But I was thinking about how most of the time, if not all of the time, I'm going to be fluid and flexible with this, but most of the time we always have an opportunity to change direction, to pivot, to move onto a path of least resistance that will create a lot of ease in our unfolding journey. And oftentimes it will create a lot more possibility coming in from all angles and directions. But we've been taught to be so linear and focused on the journey and goal that we had thought up in our control mind that we don't deviate from it because we've been in a very competitive culture. And so we compete with ourselves, right? And so then we miss out on opportunities to shift in quantum ways. And so when you feel into that, a lot of times when you get blindsided by some huge shock in your life or change or revelation, you can look back and see where you got the message that it was time to pivot, or you got the message that this was no longer comfortable for you. This energy was no longer congruent or aligned with your frequency. And most of the time we double down, right? We stay. And then we eventually get forced out of the situation by someone else, by another situation, by another scenario. Well, that's the universe, bringing what's coming to pass, albeit in a shocking way. It's still going to come to pass. We've just been resisting it for a long time. And so the message I got this morning is almost like this really unfortunate situation, right? I'm not bypassing the intensity and how hard and horrific this is, because it is on such a worldwide level. It's on such a vast population level that many people are going to be affected in huge ways, in different ways in this. And so I'm here sharing and actually doing my work to keep the frequency and vibration high and out of the scarcity tactics that are employed on a consistent basis for us, so that as the light line holders and keepers of this human evolution, of this ascension movement and new earth revolution that we're in, we share the light and the vibration of love frequency. We emanate out the feelings and the energy of what it's like to be in that space of trust and creation and magnetization. So it emanates out for the collective to start to raise up into that frequency instead of staying in the low frequency that keeps their power moving into another system that's been in place for however long. So let me just pose this message that came in as a question. What if this was something that was available to many of us, right? To move into growing our own food, to get more prominent and strong in our communities and collectives, to be even more diligent about creating our reality through intentional presence and response, and to unplug from the systems of manipulation and messaging and greed. Because when and if we unplug, all of us, it completely disrupts their power, it disrupts their system, and that costs us nothing. But it takes all of us getting together to make that movement. So what if this is our Uranus nudge, right? Into going back to more simple living, getting back to nature, getting back to our nature, to the land, to each other, in our innate humanness, our innate capacity for love. You know, it's interesting. I had a conversation recently with someone who's very, very active politically, and we were chatting about the two different sides. And I was sharing, you know, how each side is very corrupt, how each side has plenty of that Scorpio underbelly that's coming out. And this other person said, well, isn't it just human nature to be corrupt? When I talked about how corrupt the entire system is. And dang, I was almost blown over. I could not believe the thought, the feeling, and the words that I was hearing. I could not believe it. And my response was, I know. It's human nature to love. We have been wildly disassociated from that and disconnected from that and placed into a system of corruption, of believing that corruption and greed is our normal. So yeah, the message coming through is, what if this is our redirect? Because it is in that symbiosis with nature, with the weather, with the planets, with the systems, with the energy, with water, with ourselves. That is where we find those deep spaces of transcendence, those deep, deep spaces of enlightenment. That is where we shift our belief systems at the root, in their core. And that is where the systems have no other option but to change drastically when their power has been utterly, completely, and totally drained. Now, I'm sure I've left you with a lot to feel into as I continue to feel into this, but I have been getting messages to share continually about how wildly important it is that we do not succumb and invite the fear frequency that they are feeding off of into our hearts. Know that you have so much creation energy. Know that there are possibilities everywhere and that they are completely untapped and untouched as of yet. We are at our best in the full present moment that is filled with possibilities beyond anything that we have experienced in the past. I do have a podcast episode entitled, "We Do Not Know What We Have Not Experienced." And that is so important to feel into and integrate into your cells. We are here to create history. And every moment that you live, every response that you intentionally create in those moments will be your history. It will be your past. It will be our past. So if we continue to live based on what we have felt in the past, how about we create a past so abundant and flowing that everything we do and choose in these moments is from a place of wild possibility. Okay, y'all, I am going to wrap it up now, but I just wanted to let you know, again, come join me for my free Clear Your Channel Mastermind. If you want to be getting the messages and the hits that keep you in your trust and flow and fluidity in life, that keep you in a regulated nervous system and the possibilities of what's to come, no matter what's going down in the matrix, be there. The link is below in the show notes. Also, get into my meditations. If nothing else, if you're feeling the fear frequency, push play every single day. I promise. Stick with it and you will experience dramatic changes that are available for you to tap into on a daily basis. And I also have a free Co-Create with the Universe Mastermind, which is awesome. And there's a free meditation at the end. So make sure you stick around for that. what do I have coming up? I have a very advanced retreat coming up in Todos Santos, Mexico called Awaken Your Fire. Hit me up. Let me know if you have questions about it. But this is an example of one of those times to feel into where you can and absolutely will go at this level of higher dimensional transformation and integration in this reality that we live in right now. It's going to be huge. So let me know if that's interesting for you, because I promise you, this investment will not only create an abundant amount of joy in your life, it will change your life. Like, there's no other option. Okay, so I do hope that some of these messages deeply resonated for you and created a seed, like planted a seed of hope and inspiration and belief system transformation, and the knowledge that you have everything within to move through this time in a state of power and strength and, yes, even joy. We are made to thrive, y'all. And we are here to be the forefront and creators of the change into the new earth awakening, into the human evolution of what's possible for all. So I thank you deeply from my heart activation and center for being here, for being courageous and wild and raw on this human journey and ride, and for shining your light so damn bright others have no other choice but to shine theirs as well. Until next time, y'all. Cheers. And with that, let's normalize the struggles, celebrate the quirks, and lean into the light. From myself and Beezus the Brave, happy Wild Heart Revolution, friends.